Hello, everyone. Mike Mueller here with BCP Plus, and I am so honored to be joined by Matt Colburn, former Wake Forest star and current star running back for the Michigan Panthers, who are riding a five-game winning streak as they get ready for the first of two back-to-back matchups in Birmingham. Matt, thank you so much for taking the time and doing this with me today, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me.
Of course, of course. First of all, I got to know, how's the right arm feeling? Are you going to be ready for Sunday or Saturday?
It was my left arm, but yeah, no, it's feeling great, man. It's
Oh,
feeling great. Been getting treatment and doing all things I need to do to make sure I'm definitely be ready.
sweet, sweet. Good to hear that. Yeah, injuries have been kind of an issue for the Panthers this year. People going down left and right. Your running back partner, Wes Hills, went down a couple of weeks ago with a leg injury, and you really stepped up into a big role. I was just kind of wondering, how does practice and preparation change for you now that you're more of a like the workhorse back versus splitting carries with Wes, if at all?
Yeah, no, I mean, to be honest, doesn't really change at all. My mindset and really like our mindset um as a running back group is, to always prepare like the starter. Just especially in the event that, when your name is called, your number is called, um, that you're going to perform and execute. Like, the starter should be expected to perform and execute. So, um, yeah, it really just, definitely like put more emphasis on, okay, like make sure we're continuing to cross our T's, dot our I's, do all the things that we need to do from a preparation standpoint, so that nothing falls through the cracks, right? Like making sure that no beat is skipped, no matter who's in the game. So I mean, if anything, it probably just made me and our group to just like hone in and focus more on just the details of you know what we do and how we prepare and how we do it.
Very cool. I love that answer, man. We gotta always stay ready, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, and you're kind of a USFL UFL OG. You were with Philly for the first 2 years, and now who played out of Detroit, and now you're here with us with the Panthers, and you've been kind of doing this for a while. And I'm just wondering, how have you sort of seen the league grow and change now that they've kind of combined the two leagues? And then
Hmm.
also, since you're kind of a veteran at this now, I'm just wondering, what are some of your personal goals and team goals for yourself as you're here in the UFL?
Yeah, no, it's been really cool to see this whole spring league thing evolve. I mean, I even was a part of the original spring league. Forgot when it started back, but it's basically what the USFL evolved from, and then USFL to UFL. So no, it's been really cool to see just the whole evolution of it. You meet a lot of guys, right? You play against a lot of good competition, good talent. Guys that have been in the league. Guys that are fresh out of college. So it's a really good mix. Yeah, it's honestly just a blessing, uh, to be able to play this game. Um, you know, before before I came out of college, like, there really wasn't, an opportunity for guys, in my shoes. It was either like NFL or you go play in Canada or like maybe Mexico or overseas or something, right? But it's just been a blessing. And sorry, what was the second half of that question?
Just what some of your goals are while you're here in the
Yeah,
league.
yeah, no, definitely. Like, number one is to win the championship. Um, I feel like if you're playing in this league, right, like obviously you're highly competitive. Um, the number one goal is to get that ring, man. The number one goal is to be the victor, to be the champion. And then, after that, yeah, so many guys, like I said, former NFL, former practice squad, we got a good bunch of guys who are grinding, trying to put good tape together to get evaluated. to get back on a team, to get back in camp, and that's definitely a priority of mine.
That's awesome. We, as Michigan fan, I love to hear that. We want that ring real bad, man. We've been waiting a long time for a football ring. I'll tell you what.
No doubt.
Too long. We almost
Yeah,
got there last year, but we just fell
so
short.
close.
So
Yeah.
close. But yeah, but you mentioned, being competitive and being a leader. You personally, you've been competitive and you've shown excellence, not just on the field, but as a person, as a man, you were the 2022 USFL Sportsman of the Year award winner, which is given to someone that shows excellence on the field and leadership to the community off the field. And I'm just wondering, how important is that to you in your personal life, being a leader outside of football and really engaged with your community?
Yeah, I think it's super important. You know, it it goes hand in hand, right? Like if you're not able to take those traits and those characteristics that you display on the field, right? Like with your teammates, and with your coaches and with your team, if you're not be able to take that into other areas of your life, namely community and just giving back and just being someone who can support and lead, then it's really, um, I wouldn't say it's pointless, but I just feel like there's it's always bigger than you. You know what I mean? Like that's why this is a team sport. You know what I mean? That's why all 11 guys need each other, in order to make something happen on the field. And just in life. I mean, we, off the field, like we can't do certain things that we want to do, that we want to accomplish on our own. And I think just for me, like I had, growing up, I had to see that, right? I had somebody, whether it be an athlete or a mentor or, somebody that was in a position that I revered or I, looked highly upon, like, you know, they did that for me, right? Like they were able to set an example and be a model. So I just kind of feel like it's a duty, when you're in a position of, you know, a position of influence, a position that, that a lot of eyes, right? That a lot of eyes are on. I mean, you know, impact is such a huge thing, such a big thing, and I think that's probably like one of my mantras is just how can you leave a lasting impact on somebody? Like how can you leave an impression on somebody? Um, and it may not even be something totally big or something, um like I said, it might just be something as small as, you showing up and they're like, wow, like this guy actually cares, or this guy is, he has all these other things going on with his profession or his life, but he still, is making time to do this. So that's just kind of how that's just kind of what inspires me, really. It's just like,
Yeah.
being an impact.
I love that. If you don't mind me asking, who was one of those people in your life that you really looked up to and admired like that? Because that's got to come from somewhere. You're just
Yeah, I
not born
mean,
with that in you.
yeah, no doubt. I would say definitely my dad. Like just seeing the sacrifices that he made, like sometimes he, wasn't home at night because he had to work late, or, he had to go on a work trip and stay a couple nights somewhere else. But, you know, he never made any excuses. You know what I mean? When it was time for him to show up, he showed up. And even in times where, you know, he might have every excuse in the world to not show up or to not be there, to not, to do, his duty, like he did it. Um, and I'm very, very thankful, very fortunate, um, that he always answered the call. And because of that, I feel like, you know, I have all the ability in the world to follow suit. I feel like I'm very well equipped, to be able to be that for somebody. So yeah, shout out my dad,
Yeah.
biggest
Shout out.
inspiration. Love you, man. But yeah, definitely my dad.
That's awesome. Shout out to dad for sure. And
Yeah,
you got to shout out to mom on national TV. You had that big game on Mother's Day, man. So I think
yeah.
you're doing all right by your parents. I think they're pretty proud of you, man. That's awesome.
uh, I hope
Uh,
so.
Oh, I think so. Just a couple more quick questions for you, bud, and I'll let you go. I know that you guys aren't currently living in Detroit, but like I said, you did spend some time here last year, and obviously you're here for game days and stuff. And hopefully in the future you'll be back in the community more often. I was just
Yeah.
wondering, Detroit sometimes gets a bad rap for being kind of a hard city or a little rough around the edges. I was just wondering, what was your impression of the city of Detroit and the fans that they got while you spent your time here?
Oh man, Detroit's awesome. Detroit is it's a blue collar city. Michigan is a football state, so it's just really, really cool to just kind of like embrace that entire like, ideology, right? Like just hard nosed, like gritty. And I really think that's really like what we embody as a team is just like blue collar, hardworking, grit, like just persevering, relentless. It's awesome to be able to play for a city that it embodies all those things, and just the fans are awesome. I mean, they're like the rowdiest fans ever. They show so much love and so much support, and it gets loud. It really gets loud in Ford Field. um, and it's just, like I said, it's just a blessing, man, to just be in this position and to be able to continue to play football. And namely for a city like Detroit, who loves football and loves chopping wood, carrying water, bringing your lunch pail to work every day, your toolbox to work every day. So yeah, man, it's just it's a blessing. It really is.
That's awesome. And yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that this team really embodies the vibe of the city. And you don't always see that. Like, we're not super flashy. We're not, gonna be, I mean, don't get me wrong, we throw some bombs to Sims, but for the most part, it's grinding it out and getting it done and being tough. So
Yeah.
I love to hear a player say that because we definitely feel it as fans. And then just one last question for you. I'm gonna let you go. Obviously, at some point, everybody retires from football. Tom Brady even retired, so nobody gets to play forever. I was just kind of wondering, what are some of your plans for post football life? I know that you kind of do some web design and stuff with NTM Studios. Is
hmm
that something that you really want to focus on after? Or do you have different sort of goals in mind?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I founded NTM Studios, co-founded it about a year and a half ago. So yeah, I'm huge fan, huge fan of web design. It's a big passion of mine.
How'd you get
Um,
into that?
I was a computer science major at Wake Forest. Also was a communications major. But to be honest, I've always kind of just been like a designer, like, or a creator, like of like whatever it may be. Like I always was fascinated, intrigued by tech. Like, I mean, I used to make like YouTube videos back before YouTube was like, like what it is now. I used to make comic books, like all these different things. I like a big hobby of mine now, and really since probably I was like 15, was recording music. Um, I sing, I play the guitar, I produce music, like a lot of my own music. So I think for me, it got to a point where I was like, okay, how can I take my passion for like designing and creating, like techie stuff, like how can I do that and how can I like monetize off of it? You know what I mean? Like obviously you said football is going to end one day, so how can I like transition like that passion that I have into a field that would like be complementary to like the things that I like to do. um and I've always just been like on the web, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like just just I guess it's just like a generation thing of mine maybe. But yeah, it was really just kind of my interest for like designing and creating, and then it kind of started with like I guess drawing comics and then making little like videos and then music, and then found my way to like websites somehow, and then I was like, oh, like there's actually like a market for this, like maybe I should see what I can do. So yeah, man.
That's very cool, man. That's awesome. Well, I wish you luck with that. I wish you even more luck the next couple of weeks against Birmingham. It's going to be a tough one. You got a little bit of success with Birmingham. I think your last, correct me if I'm wrong, your last collegiate game was the Birmingham Bowl, wasn't it?
You had to dig for that one, huh?
I did watch that game. I'm not gonna lie
Oh, no
and say
way.
I followed your entire career, but yeah, I was doing
Oh,
really
no way.
hot that year in our bowl game picks. I was doing really
Yeah.
hot, so I started really focusing on a lot of those games. And
Yeah.
I when I started looking for, it, I was like, oh my God, yeah, I remember that game. You guys had a big comeback win,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah,
I
man.
remember.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good way to end off my collegiate career. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see if we can continue that, that success here these last weeks, last games that we have.
Definitely, definitely. Well, Matt, thanks so much for taking the time for me. This was awesome. Good luck with the next couple of weeks, and good luck with everything moving forward for you, man. Really proud of you.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you having me.